AI is very resource intensive, and it takes something like 16 ounces of water for every 20 or so prompts, which I recently learned that statistic, and it was somewhat alarming. So I did some digging, and you gotta hear this. And I know this is gonna sound weird, but there's a lot of parallels between this and then the Amazon rainforest fires that happened in like June and July of 2019. And at that time, like no one could stop talking about it. Like the lungs of the planet were on fire. But we'll circle back to that. So how does AI use these resources? Keep in mind, anytime you interact with AI, write me an email, do a calculation or have a philosophical conversation, which is something that I've seen lately, which is crazy. But AI can do that, and it can do it pretty well because it's actually pulling all of its information from these places that we call data centers. And these data centers, think of that as like a warehouse that's like full of computers and processors and servers. And these processors and servers, they generate a lot of heat based on the computational power that is required to run AI. And so we have to dissipate that heat. So the most common way that we dissipate heat is through something called evaporative cooling. And this is actually how the water actually ties into this whole thing. So like, it's very similar to the way that you and I both sweat. So like when we sweat, we push out water through our skin, that water evaporates and it dissipates heat along the way. It's the same exact kind of thing. So this is like the sweat glands of an AI, in a way. All right, wait. You said something about the Amazon rainforest. What does that have to do with anything here? I'm glad you brought that up. So in 2019, the Amazon rainforest was on fire. It was alarming. There was a couple articles that came out that was expressing concern about this. I mean, rightfully so. The lungs of the planet were on fire. And at the time, I actually worked at a health food store. And I would say 1 out of every 3 interactions that I had was about the Amazon rainforest being on fire. And everybody agreed, we need to do something about this. We need to take this seriously. And I agreed, we absolutely do need to take this seriously. And then the funniest thing happened. We got context. So the context in this particular instance was that these fires were actually set intentionally. And they were set intentionally by farmers because these farmers wanted to create grazing space for cattle. You see, there's this high demand of like natural beef products, grass-fed beef. And so they had to set the Amazon rainforest on fire to create space for that cattle to graze. But the alarming part about this is that after we learned that this was farmers that caused these fires to create space for grass-fed beef, no one talked about it at that point. Like the fires raged on for months, but people just decided that it wasn't a concern anymore. Like instead of making realistic, meaningful change in your own life and your personal choices, because they do matter, we just moved on as if it was just a part of the regular news cycle. And the thing is, we're doing the same thing again, and it's what drives me crazy is like it's the same like virtue signaling that we did with the Amazon rainforest back in the day. It's like we're pointing at everything except for the actual problem. And like my social media right now is filled with creators that are telling me that the best thing that I could possibly do for water conservation would be to delete AI from my phone. So yeah, AI has problems with resource consumption. Like, of course, like I'm not here to defend AI or say that it doesn't need to be regulated. Like it does need regulation. We do need to take this seriously. Absolutely. But I did some calculations just to put things into perspective for you. So, and this is real. Every time you flush the toilet, that's roughly 250 ChatGPT prompts. Okay. Every 10-minute shower, depending on your water pressure and a few other things, but every 10-minute shower is roughly 4,000 ChatGPT prompts equivalent, right? Here's the kicker. This is where it's going to make the most difference. And it's like, no contest. Like this is the biggest difference that you'll find in your life. So a gallon of milk is equivalent to 140,800 ChatGPT prompts. Like, what? Okay, now one burger is equivalent to 144,000 ChatGPT prompts. So Yeah, you could delete ChatGPT off your phone and sure, that can help and it will help a little. And thank you for that. And I give you a high five and encouragement because you want to do the right things. But I don't want you to fool yourself into thinking that that is the change that the world needs. Like, we need to start making bigger changes here. Now, keep in mind, every day that you eat a plant-based diet, you save roughly 1,100 gallons of water per day based on your food choices that you make. That is roughly 5,204,938 ChatGPT prompts. Like, just keep that in mind, I guess.